Test.
Alright, so we're starting. So this is Celeste. Celeste's a pretty cool game. There's a lot of mechanics. Basically, you have 3 buttons, and you can jump, you can grab, and you can dash. The dash is unavailable during the prologue, so for now we're just going to see the runners jumping and grabbing. Jumping actually gives you a small speed boost, so...
Yeah, each time you jump, you save 2 frames compared to how fast it would be to walk that same distance.
Yep, and now this bird is going to tell us we have the ability to dash, and that's where the prologue ends. So yeah, this game gets pretty technical. The dash can be used in all sorts of ways, and the coolest thing about the dash is that you can jump out of it to retain the momentum, and you can do this in 3 different ways. You can do just a dash into a jump, which is called a super jump, which they just did right there. There's a hyper dash, which is done by crouching, and doing the exact same thing. This sends you further, but you don't have as much height when you do it. And then there's the ultra dash, which is a little more complicated. We won't talk about that until the next chapter where it actually pops up. But essentially it involves diagonally downward dashing to get a lot of speed.
And another important type of it that you're saying, when you see Flad bounce up the walls like that, it's wall bouncing. Sort of the same concept. It's essentially dashing into a wall and wall jumping off of it with the speed of the dash. And it lets you maintain that speed for a little bit longer and get more height off of it.
Yep. So we're just going to see both of the runners blazing through chapter 1 here.
Ooh. Oh, both
of them
death at
taking
the exact
synchronized death, yeah. Frame perfect.
So you're seeing stuff like on flat screen right now where he's doing dashes to get to places, but has another one available to him. There are multiple methods, a lot of methods, of retaining your dash after using it in the first place. One of them is to land on the floor and bunny hop, which bunny hopping is jumping off of the floor shortly after you land on it with speed, and you maintain that speed, but touching the ground will give you your dash back. That's a good way of getting it back. And another way is if you jump out of your hyper, or your dash, near the very end of it, then you will still have the speed, but it'll give it back to you right in time before you jump away. So that's called an extended hyper, or an extended dash jump, whichever way you do it.
Alright.
So like here, for example, you did a little...
Chapter 1.
Yeah. The trick right there, where he spawned inside of the dream block, certain cutscenes that you enter like that only change your X position and not your Y position, and so he started the cutscene while he was closer to the ceiling, and then when he played it, because he's already that high up, when it moved him over, he was inside of the dream block, and that allowed him to start moving out of it early.
Oh yeah, these big black cosmic things, those are called dream blocks. Basically, when you dash into them, you go straight in the way you dashed, all the way until the end of the dream block. They're really cool, they're really fast, and it's also worth noting that you can jump out of them to maintain your speed. They're pretty cool. So Flad's just going to be bouncing through. He's in the Battlin part of chapter 2 now. This thing that's following us, its name is Battlin. You have 3 seconds to move around in the room, and then Battlin will start mirroring every move you make. If you've ever played Super Mario Galaxy, they're just like the Shadow Mario clones from those games. Except since we're speedrunners, Battlin is really fast, so it's a little scary. Flad just did an ultra there on the screen on the right, if you noticed that. What I was talking about earlier. Vlad's going to be finishing up the first segment of chapter 2. Catcatcatcatnip, not too far behind.
Yeah, you can see as Catnip does different methods of movement during these battling levels. A lot of learning what to do is figuring out like methods of movement that allow you to dodge around yourself, I guess.
Yep. So Vlad's going to be finishing up Chapter 2, Catcatcatcatnip, not too far behind, getting to the end of the second segment of Chapter 2.
The main gimmick of this third chapter resort is a little bit more simple. The level is filled with these things called dust bunnies that you will die as soon as you touch, and so a lot of the levels are just avoiding these spinning cycles like this one.
Yep. They can be a little annoying, but they are all cycle-based, and the cycles are always the same. I should note that the cycles are actually different depending on if you enter the room or if you respawn in the room. If you respawn in the room, like if you die to them and respawn, that's what's called a death cycle, and it's slightly different than than if you just walked into the room. But it is consistent. Vlad having a little bit of trouble getting over this, but he'll get it eventually. There he goes, he's got it. That jump is tough.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Another way to retain your dash is by going through a screen transition. Every time that you enter through a new screen and it like pauses for a short moment, you'll retain your dash. So you can like dash on the floor and have that dash take you through the next screen, and then you can just like
dash,
yeah, and you'll have another one back. So you can keep that speed, and it basically accomplishes the same thing.
So you might be seeing the runner skipping a lot of cutscenes. Whenever a cutscene starts, you can go into your menu and skip that cutscene. It is a little dangerous sometimes, though, because the skip cutscene button is in the same place as the retry button. So if you're not actually on the cutscene quite yet and you do it, you'll end up retrying, and then you'll lose time because you'll be sent back to the very beginning of the room. That Vlad just talked to Oshiro there. I've actually retried there before. It's not fun because it sends you all the way back to the beginning of the room. So the segment Vlad is in right now is called Huge Mess. There's 3 different branching pathways you can go. And pretty much all of the runners do it in the same order. There's the box path, and then there is the book path, and then there is the towel path. It's pretty much the universally fastest method is to go in that order. And by going to the end of one of the paths, the obstacle will be removed. So you noticed all those brown boxes on Vlad's screen are now gone. And now he's going to go get rid of the books. And after getting rid of all 3, you can access the key to move on to the next area. Request the just tell me TTTTGH. So Vlad gonna be finishing up the books. Catcatcatcatnip is gonna be entering the Huge Mess segment now. It is worth noting that you don't have a health bar in this game. Anything that touches you, you die. So any of those dust bunnies right there, for instance on Vlad's screen, they kill you in 1 hit. So one little mistake or going too fast sometimes can make you run into them. Oh my god, the corner boost, that was great. Anyway, that's gonna be Vlad finishing up the Huge Mess segment. Now he just has to walk in and get the key now that everything is put away. And he's gonna take it up here and enter the long elevator segment. What Catcatcatnip is trying to do here is a spike jump. Yep, got it. Nice. In this game, if you are moving away from the spikes, even if you are inside of the spikes do not kill you. So say the spikes are on the right side of you and you're holding left, even if you're inside of the spikes, if you're holding left, you're safe. So then you can jump out of the spikes. There's like a couple of pixels of window to do that. It's a pretty hard trick. Vlad's just going to be dashing through this room. He's going to grab this key, and then he's going to respawn. In this game, if you die with the key, you actually hold on to the key. So that is an intentional death the runners take in order to get back to the beginning of that room faster.
Yeah, there are 2 times in the run where most people die on purpose. There are 2 intentional deaths, and both of them are to grab keys and then use the retry to warp to the beginning of the room.
The other one's in Mirror Temple, right? It's
in the summit portion of Mirror Temple in 2,500 meters.
Yeah, after doing the double spike jump, that's right. So Flad is fighting Oshiro right now. Oshiro is he's in charge of this hotel we've been romping through. And even though we cleaned up all of his stuff for him, he's still really mad at us, so he's just gonna chase us down. Oshiro has a weird effect that when you get close to him, you kind of enter like this bullet time sort of thing where the game actually slows down. So you actually don't want to be near him when he charges, because the game starts to slow down just a little bit. And casually, you know, it's to give you like, it's to let you position a little bit better so you can bounce on top of his head, because since this is a platformer, bouncing on enemies' heads does give you your dash back. And that's going to be Flad finishing up Chapter 3. Catcatcatcatnip finishing up Huge Mess.
So, Flad is in Chapter 4, the Golden Ridge. There's some new interesting movement mechanics that are introduced here due to the clouds, or the first things that you saw. They act sort of similar to trampolines. There's also these bubbles you're going to see right here. They act as an extra dash, so you can use each of them to continuously dash through the air and break all those walls.
Yep. There are also these clouds here. So there are two types of clouds. There's the blue clouds, or the white and blue clouds, and then there's the pink clouds. The blue clouds, they stay there forever. But the pink clouds, they disappear after one use, and they take like 4 seconds to reappear, I think. You get a higher jump if you jump off the cloud as it is coming back up on the rebound. When you land on the cloud, it sinks down and then it goes back up. So you want to go at the very last possible second. This actually threw a lot of people off because Kirby has conditioned us to press at the bottom of the cloud, but Celeste is different. This is not Kirby.
So, things that move Madeline around in this game add to her speed if she starts doing things when she's being like pushed by them. So like if you're on a block like that scrolls to the right, you can use it to get more momentum from it, and you can use that to skip having to wait. You can just jump straight through the gap.
Yep. You'll be seeing a much more exemplified version of that in Chapter 6 once we get to the crush blocks. So Flad is just going to go against this really heavy wind, which slows down your movement, but it actually doesn't slow down your dashes too much. So using your dashes to move forward is key. Oh my gosh, Flad with a spike jump. Wow. That was an extremely hard trick he just pulled off there. Very precise. Doesn't really save much time, but gotta go for the swag strats. Because of the game, the way the game works, I should say, deaths at the very beginning of a room are not very costly. So if you just run into a room and then immediately die, it's not very costly at all.
Oh, he missed the block. Yeah, he needed to initiate that. I'm sure he meant to hit it a little bit earlier, but he went over it. So this is the last portion of Ridge, the cliff face, and this has the strongest backwards wind movement of the entire chapter. And so it's heavily based on dash movement. If you were to try to walk here, you would barely move at all. So it's, like you're saying, just hypering around everywhere.
Yep. There are also these great, fantastic snowballs. The snowballs, the timer they're on is consistent, but where they shoot is actually dependent on Madeline's Y coordinate. So if you're consistent, then they'll always be in the same spot, but sometimes they can get the better of you. If you bounce on top of the snowball, it gives you your dash back, but if you hit the side of the bottom of it, then you die, just like a Mario game. Anyway, Vlad's going to be finishing up Chapter 4 there. He's going to skip that last cutscene.
Yeah, the snowballs can be really annoying because they go into your face, and sometimes you'll just be doing your own thing and all of a sudden there's a snowball right there, but there's some optimized strats that actually abuse it and like purposefully bounce off of them to get extra hypers or ultras or more momentum and stuff like that.
Catcatcatcatnip entering Golden Ridge now, and Flad is entering Mirror Temple. So Mirror Temple has red orbs, which are basically super versions of the blue orbs we saw earlier. Oh man, that ultra. These red orbs never break. They go forever until they hit a wall.
except for if you dash out of them, which is
if
the
you dash out.
primary use for them.
Yep. They also, of course, just like most things in this game, they reset your dash. Yes, the game is based on in-game time, not real time, because the in-game timer is super accurate. Flad just did a cool strat there. There's these blocks in this chapter, you see that right there on his screen, that when you dash, they move. Flad basically got up on top of one and did a corner boost. He's also going for double bubble skip. Oh my goodness. Nah, he gives up. That strat's very hard, and it only saves you about 2 seconds. Basically, in this game, I really haven't explained corner boosts yet. If you are coming up to a corner on a wall or something, and you tap, grab, and jump at the same frame, you'll get a speed boost from the corner. If you've ever watched the Celeste pass, that's how a lot of the task strats go extremely quick, but it's also extremely difficult to pull off consistently because, again, it is a frame-perfect input.
Flad having a hard time in that room. Took a death at the very end.
Yep, that room can be a little mean sometimes. Anyway, Flad is going to be entering the second half of Mirror Temple. Basically, you just have to hit these 2 switches and activate this cutscene here, and you're now put in control of what's called a Seeker, who we'll be seeing a lot of in the next segment. So the Seeker can dash in all 8 directions. It's basically like playing Madeline, but with only the dash. Now you're just going to fall into this segment. There are 4 cutscenes you need to skip here, and if you're too early on any of them, you will accidentally retry and then have to walk through the entire room again. I've done it way too many times. Yeah, this segment of Mirror Temple has a lot of spikes. There's also got these enemies called Seekers, these Eye of Cthulhu-looking monsters. Essentially, once they spot you, they turn red and then they charge at you. You can bounce on them to gain your dash back, but the Seekers can also flip these block switches, which is really useful for going through this segment very quickly. Like that, for instance, looping them into a spot that's useful to flip the lock switch, as well as get you through the room as fast as possible. You think they look like a fish? Huh. I guess they kind of do. This room here can be very notorious for being rude to you, since there are 5 switches you need to flip, and if you die at the very end, then you have to do the whole thing over again. It's not very fun at all.
So this normally is a really long section, which right here you can skip past this hallway of spikes by doing a extended dash jump over it.
That was actually one of the very first skips discovered. It was discovered almost like day 1 or 2 of speedrunning the game.
Which, if you saw the 2 keys that he jumped over in that room before doing that jump, those are the 2 things that he would have to go through a bunch of rooms and go and collect. And then normally you'd have to take a bubble through that hallway of spikes. Yeah, and then it just makes quick work of that thanks to that skip. So now he's already in the Theo section. And the movement with him is really cool because you can maintain speed that you have prior to picking him up. So there's a lot of movement of like dashing upwards like you did there and jumping to go higher up with him. You can also hyper in him like this and then just bunny hop to maintain it.
Yeah, so the whole segment here is just you have to get Theo to the end of the room. These golden doors at the end of each room won't open unless you're holding Theo.
Trying to set up for a momentum trick here. Yeah, you got it. Pretty good. So like I said about speed getting added to you, that platform moves really fast, and so you can kind of just fly past that entire room if you set it up correctly.
Flad is Brazilian. Both runners are Brazilian here.
This run can be a little tricky because of those shockwaves the ice shoots that pushes you back, but he took care of it cleanly, because as you can see, if you dash as soon as the backwards momentum goes into you, it just immediately cancels it. So it makes it pretty convenient.
Unfortunate death at the very end of the room. But I'm sure he can recover. There he goes, he's got it. Alright, so Catcatcatcatnip finishing up chapter 4, and Flad is going to be moving on to chapter 6. This is a small little intro section of chapter 6 where it's basically a tutorial for this feather thing. With the feather, you can move in all directions. Also, nice lake skip, Flad. Show off. The feather allows you to move omnidirectionally. It's not locked to the compass. You can move all degrees. So it's actually one point in the run where it is beneficial to use an analog stick.
And despite that, I do believe Vlad plays on keyboard, which can be a little detrimental for the feather movement, but keyboard runners still make it look clean every time I see them.
Yep. It's actually not that hard. I think the only room in this game where keyboard movement with the feather is hard is a room in 6B, but we won't see that because this is any percent. Anyway, those blocks that Vlad was using, those are called crush blocks, but the community universally refers to them as Kevin blocks after the man who named them, or I'm sorry, the man who made the sound for them, Kevin, from Power Up Audio, you might recognize from SGDQ. He basically made the sound by dunking his head in a jar of water and gurgling. That's where the sound originates from. It's pretty interesting. But those blocks, they give you a lot of speed, and like we said earlier, speed is additive in this game. So if you've got a Kevin block that's moving very quickly, you can dash off of it to gain a ridiculous amount of speed. You'll see there's a specific one coming up pretty soon on flat screen. Also, just like the red bubbles, you can dash out of the feathers to cancel them. So grabbing onto this Kevin block as it falls is actually faster than your default fall speed. So I guess terminal velocity is a myth in the Celeste world. Water in this game is a little bit weird. You always get your dash back. There's not very much water in the run. That's really the only instance of you ever going underwater. This whole level was originally going to be a water level, but that was scrapped. So Flad is going to do an ultra dash off of this Kevin block and is going to gain an immense amount of speed and shoot right into the next segment.
Speaking of terminal velocity.
Yeah. The speed cap in this game is actually unlimited. If there is something to push you fast enough, you can maintain that speed until you touch the ground again. Or do something that resets your speed. That's why ultra dashing is so powerful, because it doesn't actually cancel your speed, so you can maintain it really easily.
The strats in this fight the way the fight works consists of making your way over to all of the spots that Battle and flies to as fast as possible, and just smacking her in the face, I guess. And that's what opens up the next room.
Yep. There's also a really nice theme playing in the background right now. So. Catcatcatcatnip is going to be coming up to the skip in Chapter 5. Let's see if they get it. Nice.
Second try, that was pretty quick, and he didn't die on it, so it wasn't that bad.
He did use a blaze through Madeline and Battlin's climactic battle. Sour please indeed. Alright, right here you have to skip a cutscene.
Unless there's something I'm not remembering, this is like a pretty good reflection so far for him.
Yeah, he's on very good pace right now. Now in the second phase of the battle, every time you hit battle in, the blocks start to become sentient and move around. They start moving like platforms. And because these also carry momentum, you can use them again to build more speed. Or to make higher jumps in the case of what Vlad just did right there.
So it's pretty long, but this is the last screen of the fight. Mostly just consisted of dodging these lasers with the feathers.
Dying in this room really sucks.
Yeah, it kind of does. But all you
Vlad
need is
isn't
that
gonna
one
die.
hit.
He's just gonna make his way through, and now after skipping this next cutscene, you're gonna level up, which means you get 2 mid-air dashes. He's gonna make a quick escape. And Vlad's time for Chapter 6 is 5:59.
Barely sub 6, but that's a really good time to get.
Sub 6 is incredible, especially in a race setting. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe the IL record is 5:51?
5:49.
5:49, okay. I don't know, I haven't followed ILs for a while. So Vlad is going to be entering the final chapter of the game. This is the Summit. So essentially Summit is just a retread of all of the chapters we've already been through. Except now, you have 2 dashes. And also the level design is adjusted accordingly, so it's a lot harder. This is by far and away the longest chapter in this game. It's usually around 10 minutes long on average.
Oh, I was slightly wrong. Apparently a 5:47 exists for reflection.
5:47. Really? Ah, 5:57. Okay, thanks, Tej.
So now we're in a place that looks sort of like Chapter 1. The different segments of Summit are each of the 6 chapters that led up to this point. The first one being Chapter 6, and the next being 1 through 5. So it shares the mechanics of each of those levels that we explained as we were in each of them.
These rooms are all pretty long and pretty precise, but it's also worth noting that these springboard type things, they reset your dash. And anything that reset your dash before now gives you both charges of your dash before. So landing, touching a dash crystal, hitting a pinball bumper, etc., etc. That all gives you both of your dashes back. So, like I said earlier, you can jump out of these dream blocks, but it's going to make a big impact here as it lets you maintain a lot of speed going through this segment. And again, you need a dash to enter a dream block in the first place. So if you don't have a dash, then well, unfortunate. Too bad.
Finishing up the Chapter 2 segment pretty cleanly. But this segment can be really, really annoying. As you can see, the dust bunnies are way more active than they were before, and it sets up for some pretty difficult things to navigate through.
Yep, I still consider this the hardest part of the run, the Chapter 3 section of Summit, because some of these Dust Bunny patterns can be a little tough. Flad going for the Ultra Dash strat, and he is going to pull it off. That is very good from him, very clean.
Yeah, that's one of the harder rooms of this portion.
Franker Z.
That was very nice. I don't remember seeing any major mistakes there. This is a pretty good summit so far from him.
Yep, it's going to be entering the Chapter 4 segment, the 2,000 meters segment. And in this segment, it's actually faster to take the secret above route because it skips 2 rooms down below. And also gets you a strawberry. Those are important, right? Yeah. Anyway, our great friend the Snowballs are back in action. And these Snowballs are out for blood. Flad went for the strat where you bounce on a snowball, but unfortunately misses it, so that's going to cost him some time. And he doesn't bounce on the snowball, but he had both dashes that time, so he is going to get it. Here, you're going to use the momentum from this block to skip this entire auto-scroller segment. And then you're going to do a really cool wall bounce off of that small ledge and get up there. Now here's an auto-scroller you can't really skip, so we got to take this block to the top. Not really much you can do here to speed this up.
Can't completely skip it, but he's going to make it up there before the block does slightly. It's a bit of optimized movement that saves a slight amount of time. So it's a pseudo auto-scroller skip.
Yeah. Oh! Cutting it a little close there. At the end of every single segment of Summit, you have to get these black orbs, which helps launch you up to the next section of the level. And every time there's a cutscene, and again, you can accidentally retry there and go back to the very beginning of the screen. That's no good. Anyway, we're at the final revisit section of Summit now. This is 2,500 meters, the Chapter 5 section. There's no Chapter 6 segment because Chapter 6 actually happens at the bottom of the mountain, not on the mountain. So Flad is going to do a skip here. I mentioned earlier about spike jumps, so if you're holding away from the spike that you can jump on them. That's a pretty difficult one to pull off, but you do 2 of them in a row to get enough room so that you can dash up to the key early without having to go through the bottom room to get it. It's pretty cool.
And that is where the other unintentional death comes in.
Yep.
Just a little bit faster to warp back to the beginning of the room.
Threading the needle to get in there, and now Flad is going to go for door skip. And he does get it.
No problem.
Easy clap door skip. Door skip really isn't anything special. It just kind of became a meme in the community because a long time ago when we were very bad at Celeste, and like 43 was the world record, which now 30 minutes is now the world record. Door skip was like, wow, this skip is impossible. There's no way we're ever going to do this in runs. And then it was leg skip after that. And now both of those are in runs, so. World record for this game is 30:34. Anyway, Flad is going to be entering the final segment of Summit. This is the downdraft portion where the wind is actually blowing down. This makes Madeline heavy, so you fall faster and you don't go as high. It's essentially it's as if you switched from playing Smash 4 to playing Smash Melee. And because of this, everything feels a lot more precise, and you can actually gain just a little bit more speed. But now, after touching this purple orb, the downdraft is going to actually turn into an updraft. So now everything's going to be nice and floaty. Unlike other chapters in the game where there's a bunch of isolated screens, Summit, all of the screens are very long, but they have checkpoint flags inside of them. So every single one of those checkpoint flags that turns pink when he touches it, those act as checkpoints. So if you die, you respawn there. But if you skip over them and don't activate them, they never activate. So it's kind of a high risk, high reward scenario where you can skip them to go a little faster, but if you die, then you're losing an insane amount of time.
There is one flag, I believe, that respawns you at it, even if you don't touch it, but I don't usually see anyone die at that flag anyway, so it's not something that shows very often. He barely skipped that one right there. Hopefully he should be fine here, yeah. No big deal.
Do a reverse super dash into that. And he is ascending the summit at lightning speed. He actually did not get his dash back there, so he had to retry. Because he was going to die anyway, so it was faster to retry. Alright, flag number 6. Flad is going to make his way up. And this is basically the last screen of the game that's dangerous. I like to call this one the gauntlet. Threading the needle there again to save both dashes to get into that feather faster. That's checkpoint number 3. And last checkpoint. And that is it for Flad.
Really getting the 32 for him, that's pretty good.
Yep, 32:54, that is a very good time. What would that be on the leaderboards? Let me go look real quick.
Not insanely far off from PB, I believe. Like, within a minute, I'm pretty sure.
His PB is 32:32, so this is very good for him for a race. So yeah, GG's to Flad. Now we watch Catcatcatcatnip take revenge on Battlein. Ooh, he does take a death there at the end of that room. That's unfortunate.
That is a rough spot to die in.
I believe in him. He's got this.
Something you can notice in rooms like this is that you can be holding down at any time to increase your fall speed by a lot. And like there are a lot of places that I see like really good players like just holding down the entire time, and I'm like, how do you have the nerves to hold down there? I like can't make myself do it. It's so scary. Yeah, you can kind of notice in places like that where some players are falling really fast and some just want to stay alive.
Yep, it's another type of high risk, high reward. And
but he should be done here, yeah.
He is finishing up the battle and fight. He's going to go get his level up, and then it's time for Summit. I see Flad is in the chat. GG, dude. Congrats. Good run, man. Alright, so Catcatcatnip is going to be entering Ganon's Summit. Forced to have it. Oops, he didn't maintain his dash there. There we go.
I believe he is a decent bit ahead of his PB. Either way, if he has a good summit, he can easily do it. I don't know where he is on his splits, but judging by in-game time, it's very doable for him.
I believe in him. He's got this. And thankfully we get to listen to the incredible Summit soundtrack again, because this is the best song in the game. Actually, every song in this game is the best song in the game, so. There's the little strat here, wall bouncing off of that, that rail block. Yeah, that's the name. Saves you a little bit of time going through that room. Yep, the soundtrack is composed by Lena Rain. It's very good. I very heavily recommend you give it a listen. He's my daily driver for a while. Let's see if Catcatcatcatnip can make it through Summit. I believe. Alright. Nice. Gonna be using the momentum from that block to get you up to this purple orb. And that is gonna be the Chapter 2 segment of Summit gone and done with. Moving on to 1,500 meters. I'm sorry, 1,000 meters. That was the Chapter 1 segment. I'm stupid, chat. Sorry. This is the Chapter 2 segment of Summit with the Dream Blocks. Oh, okay. That was a new one. I haven't seen that.
That was a clever strat there.
That's clever. Top 10 saves in speedrunning.
Yeah, other than dashing into the dream blocks, they're also solid if you were to not dash into them, so you can interact with them. Oh, yeah, he's gonna have to retry there. You can interact with them like normal surfaces. You can wall climb on them and stand on them and stuff like that. So, like, if you don't make it quite straight in like he did, you can just land on top of it and you get your dash back from it and you can try again. So it's pretty clever.
Alright, it's going to be Catcatcatnip finishing up the Chapter 2 segment of Summit, and now we're going to be going into the Chapter 3 segment, 1,500 meters, where you have to avoid the dust bunnies yet again. I do believe he is on PvPPP base. Wait, what on earth did I just say? PPPPB pace. There we go. That room can be very difficult. But he is going to make it through. It is worth noting that you might see the little moss-like plants growing out of the floor. Upon touching those and then leaving, and then walking off of the tile you're on, the floor will be replaced by dust. And that stuff kills you, so that's no good. That's no good. Anyway, Catcatcatnip is going to be making it through that very difficult room. And we are going to get into the Franker Z room. I think. Alright, he gets it. Let's see if he can avoid the dreaded Bob. He avoids the first one. Can he avoid Bob? He does avoid Bob, and that's going to be the finisher for the Chapter 3 segment. We're going to be moving on to the Chapter 4 segment, 2,000 meters. That's what the upside down Franker see. Our good friend the wind is back once again. as well as our entourage of snowballs. So Catcatcatnip is going to tap into his Ultra Instinct and completely dodge the snowballs. No threat there. Ooh, the block does accidentally run into the wall though, so he's going to have to retry that room. You need to get the block through that small little gap. The block doesn't actually interact with spike blocks at all. Just the walls. He thinks you're still playing Link to the Past. Oh, wow.
That was a little scary.
A little scary, but he had the backup strat. His strats have strats. Hey, TJ, I call that Dust Bunny Bob, okay? If you have a problem with that, fight me. Ooh, unfortunate. He meant to dash straight up there, but he did dash diagonally left. He's got strats. Anyway, he's going to be making through the final room of the Chapter 4 segment of Summit. And he is going to be on his way to hover through validation chests. Wait, wrong game. He's going to be on his way to the 2,500 meter segment, the Mirror Temple portion. For those of you who don't know, this is part of the Celeste Any Tournament. If you type !Celeste in the chat, you'll get directed to where you can find more information. The next match is actually happening pretty soon, so just after this one. So stick around if you want to watch more Celeste.
Nice strat by him there. If he doesn't have too much trouble with the key skip. Easy.
Oh yeah, he got it. First try. Easy clap.
He should be able to get a sub 50 on this pace the way that he's playing, I believe.
I believe in him. He's gonna be throwing.
Oh well, that was pretty clean too. Got that first try as well.
And he's
going for door skip.
For door skip.
Oh no, he doesn't want it that bad.
He's on PB base. He doesn't want to.
Oh! He wanted the second one. He can't make up his mind.
Alright, he gets the first one.
He's got it. There he goes.
Easy clap, door skip every time, first try. Ooh, he barely hit that spring. Door skip. Hybrid door skip. Yeah, that's a good name for it. Alright, I think we're good.
Okay. Yeah,
Nobody saw that, right? Okay, sweet. That didn't happen. Just some small technical issues. Pog champ. Now, that's a username. We got Catcatcatcatnip is going to be finishing up the Chapter 5 segment, and we're going to be moving on to the final segment of Summit. Here we go. He is on PB base here, so let's see if he can clutch it out. Alright, so it is common tradition within Celeste Twitch chats to count down the flags. So if you would like to partake, here we go. 25. 24. 15. Oop, he's got this.
Yeah, reasons like that are why the downdraft can be scary, but
Yep, it's very hard to gain upward momentum without wall bounces.
some people actually prefer the movement of the downdraft. Once you get used to it, it can feel pretty fun to move in.
Flag 23. Yeah, I actually enjoy it. Ben Teasy does too. We talked about this yesterday. Feels more precise.
Yeah, it definitely is a bit less lenient on the things that you do.
This room can be pretty tricky. The strawberry in this room is just pure evil. I was stuck here for quite some time casually. But he is going to be making it through the room of style. 20! Alright, we're out of downdraft. We're into updraft. 19. 18. 17. Ooh, 16.
Barely made that there, nice.
15. 14. And we've got Catcatcatcatnip blazing through Summit. We're going to be coming up to flag 13. Oh, he does make it. Nice. Does take an unfortunate death there, but he did get the flag, so he's not too far behind. So just gotta hit all these lock switches. And he's gonna get flag number 12 pocketed down. Got 11. Coming up to flag number 10 here. I think the big key is in this one. And making this tight little dash here. He's going to get flag number 9. Making his way up here. Gets this cloud boost. Going to get flag number 7. Ooh. There's nothing he can do here. He's going to have to take an intentional death. Now he's just going to climb up the wall. Flag number 6. Four. Ooh. Makes it through the feather segment. Nice. Flag number 3. One final platforming challenge. He's gonna thread the needle here. Nice. Gets the flag, hopefully. Nice. Gets the flag. Number 2. Climbing up the last segment here. It's going to touch flag number 1, and now we've just got one little casual leisure walk to the final flag.
So close to hitting sub 50, but still a pretty big PB for him, I think. Which is pretty good. 50-12.
And that is a PB for Catcatcatnip. Good game. Well played. Congratulations to Catcatcatnip on the PB. Congratulations to Flad on the win. And that was Celeste Any Percent.
Congrats to him on the PB. Flad got a really good time too, so both good performance from them overall. I don't know if I'm not sure that we're getting anyone in here to talk.
I don't think so. I'm not sure. Anyway, that yeah. GG. Catcatcatnip. And GG to Flat as well. It's a very fun race.
Good game.
All right. So as for upcoming Celeste Any Tournament races, in just about 3 minutes or so, we've got Tidal versus Bye-Bye on this channel, Speed Gaming 3. And then later at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we've got Brigai. Is it Brigai or yeah? I'm gonna say Brigai 77 versus TGH at 10 p.m. as well, also on Speed Gaming 3. And then that's all for tonight, but there will be many more races tomorrow as well. So we got Catcatcatcatnip just showing us his completion screen, 50, 12, 91 deaths, but he also got 3 strawberries, so that means his run is validated. Easy. Again, congrats to both runners. It's been fun. My name's Shay, and I got my friend here.
Flare Bear. Gonna set me up for it each time.
Easy.
But yeah, the other races that are remaining today are both going to be really good, so I recommend that you stick around for them if you can. And they're coming up shortly, so that's totally worth.
Yep.
So yeah, see you later, guys.
Yep. Peace out, everybody. Enjoy the rest of the night, and take care, all of you.